Good evening, good afternoon, guten tag. How you doing, everybody? It's yours truly, Wade T. Lightheart for the Prosperity and Health Alliance, and tonight we are going to do something a little different. Normally we're doing a training call, which we do each and every Monday night at 6 p.m. Pacific, and whatever that works out to in your time zone, since we're trying to track down time zones, but 9 p.m. Eastern. Bottom line, tonight we're going to talk about something that's really near and dear to my heart. We actually did this presentation, a version of it, at the Enagic Global Convention this summer, where over 4,000 people got to witness some of the best trainers in all of Enagic in 40 years plus history to come around and gather around the world to teach this amazing process and this amazing company and what they're doing. And I'm really delighted to be here tonight, and I'm delighted to share this with you. And this format is going to be something that we're going to put up and you can use and leverage for you and your teams moving forward. And I call it the simple solution for health and happiness. 4 reasons why the world needs Enagic. And of course, for those of you who don't know me, this is my background. I'm a master trainer for Enagic 6823. I'm a former 3-time all-natural bodybuilding champion in Canada. I'm an advisor to the American Anti-Cancer Institute, and I'm the director of education for Bioptimizers Nutrition, and we have a whole host of training and education videos at www.prosperityandhealthalliance.com. Be sure to check it out, get your teams on it. We're here to train, we do it all for free. We're here to spread this mission of compassion around the world. So let's get into it tonight. Buckle your seatbelts, ease back into the chair, pour yourself a nice tall glass of KANGEN, and get ready to enjoy the show. Let me talk about one thing first. And I put this picture up here with a lot of my friends and the people I've met around this business over the last almost a decade. And I want to share, it's the people is why we do it. Right now, today, in this moment, there are millions of people suffering around the world. There are people that need this water. There are children that need this water. There are families that need this water. And there are all sorts of people who need the economic prosperity that Enagic can provide for them. And isn't it great to be part of something that you can feel good about, something that helps the world, it helps the environment, it's good for your body, and it's good for your finances. And that's what Enagic is all about. Here's a couple things for you to consider. Wouldn't you agree that, many people achieve health but never achieve financial security? And a few people amass great fortunes but spend most of their money trying to regain their health. And by the way, that's most people in the Western world, because if you look at yourself in the Western world, we're actually more prosperous than any group of individuals in history. And if you compare that over humanity, but yet so many people are suffering from poor health. And they can't really enjoy all these things. And of course, many people, achieve great health or wealth and remain unhappy. They get both, but because they don't have connection and fulfillment. And what we're here is to provide an opportunity for all that. Here's what we're going to learn today. Number one, we're going to learn the obstacles to true health. And I've been studying health since I was 15 years old and picked up my first bodybuilding magazine, studied exercise physiology, went to nutrition, trained with some of the best minds around the world in the health industry, and I've practiced it on a daily basis, and I didn't know how powerful KANGEN would be. And so we're going to share with you some of the obstacles to true health and how to overcome it. The next thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about the 4 reasons for the Enagic diet. And I call it a diet. It's not a diet like you have to starve yourself diet. It's a diet where you actually feed your body. And DIET stands for 4 specific things, the 4 reasons that we are going to address in this webinar. And finally, I'm going to share with you how a 3-part philosophy can change your life physically, financially, and emotionally. And it's done that for me, and it's done that for thousands and thousands of people around the world. And I'd love for you to find out how you can be next. Now let's look at a couple interesting things here before we get into the meat of this. Did you know that throughout history, waterborne illness is the #1 killer of humans? Think about that. Even today. And did you know that over 1 billion humans on the planet do not have access to clean water as defined by the World Health Organization? Over 1 billion people. You can't even conceive of how many people 1 billion is. And did you know, for those of us who are in the United States, it would take the U.S. government $1 trillion to get its water filtration up to its own standards, which are over 35 years old. We have a massive issue with water, and it's not getting better. However, the technology to correct this in your own life and in your own home is readily available, and it's been provided by a Japanese company that has been around for over 40 years. Now, this water crisis that we kind of overlook is also an opportunity. And the Japanese, I love this, they write crisis and opportunity in the same model in this Kaishu script. So for those people that see a crisis, if you have a crisis going on in your life, whether it's a physical crisis, an emotional crisis, a financial crisis, whatever that happens to be, if you can look below the crisis, there's an opportunity, because what happens in a crisis, it tends to motivate us to make a change in our life, to make a new step, to make a new pathway, or try something different, or make changes. And sometimes it takes a crisis to realize opportunity, to kind of snap us out of what's really important in life. And for those of you who want to get into water, I'm going to encourage you to watch a video of the top water researchers from around the world who have gathered and put together a video called Water, the Great Mystery. And this video actually features an Enagic unit and shows the power of its effects on the blood chemistry inside the body. It's absolutely revolutionary. In fact, it's attracted some of the finest doctors in the world, people like Dr. Horst Filzer and Dr. Tim McKnight, Dr. Hiromi Shinya, these people who have put their, extraordinary careers and said, you know what, people need to take a look at this water. But this video is incredible and demonstrates how important water is, and what is water. It's way more than we think, and we take it for granted. But with our company, we'll show you the power of water and what it's able to do for you and your family's life in so many ways that you can't hardly imagine. Now, there's a couple of independent online videos. You can watch these to get, for those of you who like the science and want to hear about this, you can back this up with Water, the Great Mystery. And this is all about the emerging science. It's a documentary, which I just kind of referenced to. I'd also encourage you to watch a video produced by the Canadian government called The Disappearing Male, and this is the effects of ignorance. Just like the law, the ignorance of the law is not a defense. The ignorance of the laws of health is not a defense. The ignorance of the laws of prosperity is not a defense. You suffer if you are ignorant. And so many people today are focusing on the wrong things. And I'm not here to condemn anybody, but the reality is we're taking in all this information, but how much of it is contributing to our health? But in this video, they talk about the amount of phytoestrogens that are out there and these estrogenic plastics throughout our entire water supply, entire food supply. And what it's doing, it's causing a dramatic drop in testosterone in males. It's also mutating and causing the death of males pre-birth in the embryonic stages, from tadpoles right on up to humans. This is a government documentary, Disappearing Male, made by scientists. It's frightening when you know this, and you'll start to understand why this is so important, why you need to get off the plastic bottles of water. Finally, we're going to talk about the business of water, and there's a great video on that called Blue Gold, and that shows you what's happening in the world of water. Blue Gold is demonstrated that water is going to be a bigger business than the oil industry. Imagine that. And for those of you who are wondering, well, I don't know, my doctor hasn't heard about this, or I haven't heard of it. Why haven't I heard about it by a doctor? Well, I'm going to share with you a fellow by the name of Dr. Tim McKnight, MD, PhD in nutrition, and he wrote a book called Confessions of a Skeptical Physician. And in this book, he gives all the peer-reviewed studies and scientific backup that allowed him to come to the realization that virtually everybody needs this water, and that this water is the answer to a lot of the ailments that the world is dealing with. In fact, Tim, and you can get his book online, by the way, Tim served the last government, but he was brought to Washington to find out of how he could help small communities improve their health. And one of his suggestions was, you know, people need to get on this water. This is amazing. And as an MD and as a PhD in nutrition, he's a very unique position. Most nutritionists are not doctors and most doctors are not nutritionists. He's both of them and has come to some very extraordinary conclusions. You can Google him and check out some of his presentations online. And here's another fellow who just recently retired, Dr. Hiromi Shinya, MD, one of the most famous gastroenterologists in the world. Literally scoped over 300,000 colons, developed the Shinya technique from removing polyps. This guy knows what goes on inside the body, and he said that Kangen water is an alkaline-rich 8 to 9, and it's considered to be the best drinking water because it's incomparable powers of hydration, detoxification, antioxidation. Amazing guy. Ambidextrous, kung fu doctor from Japan that split his time between New York and Tokyo, treating the best, the who's who of the world, and he wouldn't even treat them unless they got on Kangen water. Shan Stratton, nutritional coach of the pros. The guy has coached, I think now it's into over 30 major league sports teams, including some of the big things. You know, the New York Yankees, the Dodgers. He's been with various football organizations, every single sport in the world, some of the who's who names of the world. And he suggests that everybody needs to get hydration. He owns his own nutrition company. We're good buddies. He's an amazing man. And he's suggesting that all his athletes get on this and people. In fact, years ago when I got started, I had such a profound athletic improvement and recovery factor that I wrote a little book, and it was How Kangen Water Has Changed How the Top Athletes Superhydrate their bodies. And I predicted that there would be a host of world-class athletes that would get on this. And sure enough, there are. All these guys on the list are using Kangen water, and they're not endorsed for that. Finally, we're looking at why is this water so important? Well, there's never been a bigger toxic world in our lives. Pollution in the ocean, pollution in the air, pollution in the food, pollution in the soil, the whole 9 yards. And the bottom line is we can't really change all that. But what we can say, and what a lot of doctors and scientists and athletes are saying, is that Kangen water is the key to a long-term health and high performance. And I'm going to explain why that is in just a moment. Because there are 4 main obstacles to health, wealth, and happiness. And they all start in your physicality. The 4 things are dehydration, inflammation, environment, and toxicity. And we're going to go through these 4 things, and we're going to address them, and why all of these professionals, and why all of these doctors, and why all of these researchers, and why all of these scientists are actually saying you need to drink this water, and that this water is different. You see, the human body is approximately 75% water. And right now, most people are putting acidic, xenoestrogen-filled water into their bodies, whether it's coming from a plastic bottle, whether it's coming from reverse osmosis. Maybe they're drinking a whole bunch of sodas and pops and energy drinks and processed, chemicalized foods. And all of these things are highly acidic. And what that does is it impacts our long-term health, creating silent inflammation, degeneration, dehydration. These things are what leads to the aches and pains and chronic acceleration of the aging and degeneration process. And what Kangen water is, it converts your tap water into 5 super healthy types of water that perform various functions inside the body and can reverse or reduce this trend in your life. And there has numerous reported lifestyle benefits from doing that. You see, there was a guy by the name of Faridun Batmangalij who wrote a book called Your Body's Many Cries for Water. And he said that you're not sick, you're thirsty. And inside that book, he outlines literally dozens and dozens of chronic illnesses inside there of how you can fix that with water. And our water is probably the best way that you can go ahead and do it. And he said, don't treat thirst with medications, treat it with water. You see, at least 95% of the population is chronically dehydrated. And dehydration is the biggest enemy to the person trying to achieve optimal health. Now, you see, our machines restructure water so that it's smaller, it's wetter, and the reason it does it, it has less surface tension, and that makes it super hydrating. In other words, according to Dr. Tim McKnight's results, he felt that the water hydrates your body 6 times faster. In fact, there was a guy by the name of Dr. William Agar who won a Nobel Prize for proving how aquaporins work in cellular hydration. That's the little cells inside your body. So you can imagine your cells like a chain link fence. And a big fat molecule of water that would come from a bottled water or from tap water because of the way it's stuck together won't pass through that chain link fence. Well, when you do what's called ionization, you break up the big molecules into smaller molecules. Now, this happens in nature. This happens in a spring that's set up properly and it comes up bubbling up out of the ground. There's an ionization process. It happens when a waterfall happens, a big waterfall that comes over a cliff, and you can kind of stand there and you can feel this ionization and you feel good. Or maybe you've stood out by the ocean and you see the waves crashing on the ocean and you kind of walk down the beach and you feel good. That's because of ionization. Or maybe you felt the energy after an electrical storm. Well, that's the result of ionization. You start breathing in these ions and it takes away the acidic, oxidizing free radicals that do all the damage and all the inflammation in the body. In fact, how it works is the Enagic water machine takes normal tap water, it goes through this filter over here that you can see, and then it goes through the plates. There's 7 titanium plates in our main machine. There's an 8-plate machine, a 3-plate machine, a 5-plate machine, and the more plates that you have and the more power you have and the more surface tension or surface area, the more potent the water becomes. The better it hydrates and the more electrical-based antioxidants. And that allows it to absorb quickly, get into the places that it needs to, and provide your body with unlimited antioxidants. You see, going back to that example, the chain link fence, our water in its natural state is much wetter, but unfortunately we pipe water through right angles. And on these right angles, it kind of clusters up the water into these blocks. And what happens, or they add chemicals to the water like chlorine and fluoride, or there might be drugs in the water that's been recycled water, or there could be a bunch of agents inside there that makes this water kind of stick together, kind of like if you had soda water and it sticks together if you let it dry on the cupboard, because the sugar will stick it together. Well, chemicals, the way we hydrate it, or how it travels through the pipes can mess it up. And now we get these big models. Now your body cells run at 80 dynes, and unfortunately this is 110, 120, something like that. So you don't have to remember all the surface tension stuff, but for those of the chemistry guys that we're going to talk about it briefly, we're able to break that up with the electrical charge, and it makes a smaller molecule, and you turn that tennis ball trying to go in through the chain link fence into a group of marbles over here on the right. And what that does is that allows it to get into the cell. So it's called lower surface tension water. And that's really how ionization works. And that's why it's different than anything else out there you saw. And what that does is that helps eliminate the challenges that we have around dehydration. Now, if you've been dehydrated most of your life, most people, if they get on a water trial with us, they drink for 2 or 3 days, and all of a sudden they feel like they're really thirsty. Well, that's because your thirst mechanism has been turned off for decades. Now, that's the first issue, dehydration. KANGEN water covers dehydration. We can fix that. Number 2, we've got inflammation. Inflammation is the silent killer. I was talking to a naturopathic nutrition and founder of the Corey Hawley Institute the other day, an amazing fellow who's been studying all the greats for years. And he said the thing about inflammation is you can't feel it. You don't know it. It's not like getting a punch in the head or a cut or a bruise or anything. It's an internal inflammatory response that happens on all your organs, and it's a silent killer. And the only way to deal with that is with antioxidants. And for most people, they recommend a whole lot of antioxidants, green foods and superfoods and vitamin C's and all kinds of herbs. And you see all these things around the world that are in the nutritional supplement industry. And I manufacture nutritional supplements, and most of them are some form of antioxidant, which has been shown to reduce the negative effects of inflammation. Well, Enagic machines make virtually unlimited electrical-based antioxidants. That means you don't have to digest them. That means it doesn't have to go through the tubes. It gets to that right away. You see, free radicals are positively charged ions that do damage to our cells and cause inflammation. That comes from chemicals. It comes from breathing. It comes from living. Existing on this planet, you're getting these free radicals. And Enagic water ionizers, because they make this negatively charged ions, will bond to these positive charged ions, and that will reduce inflammation. Just that simple. And so many people have done it. You can Google it online. You can see people reducing swelling. You can see people getting over aches and pains and all these different things. all these, anything that's an itis. If you got an itis in your life, itis is a form of inflammation. That's what itis means. It's an inflammatory response. And so all these different itises is inflammation. And the best way to get rid of inflammation naturally is through what? Antioxidants. And the way you get the most amount of antioxidants in your life is through an ionization machine, because it doesn't have to go through the tubes and you can make unlimited. That's a good thing. We've also introduced what's the world's finest turmeric supplement called, and basically turmeric is the best studied nutritional supplement on the world. And the bottom line is there's over 5,600 studies effective to how it reduces inflammation. In fact, if you go to the Prosperity and Health Alliance, one of our nutritionists, Antonina Burachenko, has done an amazing presentation. You can get that and learn all about why that is and why Enagic makes the finest turmeric supplement. There's nobody out there that makes a turmeric like ours. There's nobody else that puts it in an encapsulated form to keep it from oxidizing itself, so that you get the most potent, finest Ukon turmeric supplement from Okinawa, Japan, home of the longest living, healthiest population on the planet. Our machine also makes negatively charged ions right here on that negative charge, and that's powerful because that allows you to drink this, you and your family, as much as you want. And you know, we have charts, and if you can, I highly recommend that you go check out one of the demos. But the bottom line is negative ions, vitamin C, green drinks, all that sort of stuff. That's like anywhere from 0 to 100. KANGEN will be 3, 4, 5, 600. If you're drinking purified water, reverse osmosis water, distilled water, and tap water or sodas, they're on the highly positively charged. That's doing damage in your system, and you need to have a strategy to overcome that. Number one, you can stop doing the things that damage. That's tough. Or you can start putting in the things that reverse that trend. That's easy. We have 3 basic things that we address to deal with the home health. If you want the whole unit, we have a KANGEN water machine. What you see here is the K8. This is the finest machine we have. 8 plates, travels around the world, plugs into any socket, got a computer display, an easy change cartridge on the bottom for your saline and your cleaning things. There is no other machine that is as good as this one. We also have an anaspa, so you can hook up your shower so you can get the chlorine out of your shower and all those contaminants. It's like having your own home spa. Your skin comes out like velvet. And then we have an Ukon supplement, which is the world's best turmeric. And these 3 things act as the triple effect, the way to protect you and your family inside and out from all those inflammatory responses that lead to all this, right? Just so you know, in that study from Green Meta Info, and this is showing that turmeric is more effective than 14 of the most commonly prescribed drugs on the planet. And check out Antonina's video at the Prosperity and Health Alliance and read all about it, and she'll go into that in depth. Bottom line, 600 reasons why turmeric may be the most important herb, and we make the best one on the planet. In fact, this is an extreme 175 distinct beneficial physiological effects. That's what this plant can do for you. So Enagic, we cover inflammation really well. We got dehydration taken care of, and now we're getting rid of inflammation. This is exciting because you can't get a product that can do all this, but it gets better. You see, here's what's happening in the environment. You say, well, you know, Wade, I eat pretty good. You know, Wade, I'm not so worried. I got my own nutritional supplements, but let's look at this. Let's look at the environment. Today, over 40 million plastic water bottles end up as garbage every single day in North America. Imagine what that is around the world. There's only like 335 million people in North America about. What about in a place like India? Over 1 billion. What about a place like China? Over 1 billion. What about the 300 million in Indonesia? What about the 500 million in Russia? What about the billion or so in the EU? What about the billion in Africa? What about all the people around the world that are drinking plastic bottled water and throwing them away and creating a toxic disaster in our environment? And the reality is environment stronger as well. Don't matter how healthy you want to be. We need to have a solution. We need to find a better way to serve clean, healthy water to people. Our water machine reduces the toxins from filtration. It provides unlimited antioxidants. We reduce the chemicals that are coming into your shower, that's into your home, and we reduce the toxins in the environment because we don't need plastic bottles. We don't need all those bottles going into the environment. If we do this one family at a time, eventually we'll make a difference. Now here's the Enagic received the International Earth Environmental Universities Award for showing that KANGEN water was able to reduce river pollution and reduce the use of chemical detergents. It reduces the use of PET bottles. It contributes to the improvement of living in the environment and raises hygiene, and with the disinfectant and removal components that it has, is a safe and non-toxic way to remove microorganisms, Salmonella, E. coli, MRSA, all that sort of stuff. In fact, Dr. Horst Feltzer uses it on wounds in his wound healing clinic in Bullhead City, Arizona. As a preventative care mechanism, it makes a contributed reduction of the national medical cost and the lost in employment benefit in employer work days. It also removes the inherent risks and dangers that are inherent in our tap water from the municipal water sources. It provides an alternative to the consumption of bottled waters, which is also good. And because it converts tap water through electrolysis into healthy alkalized ionized water for drinking, the contaminants are filtered out of the beneficial minerals and nutrients are retained. This is the most effective, economical friendly version for a healthy lifestyle and environment. And we've won the awards to this. By the way, this institution was founded by Professor Dr. Linus Pauling, two-time Nobel Prize winner, the guy that invented vitamin C and developed a whole lot of health stuff, was also one of the progenitors of orthomolecular psychiatry, treating advanced states of illness using nutrition. Amazing guy. And his university has said this is great for the environment. Now let's go. There's one more thing on the 4 reasons. You see, the bottom line is we're living in a toxic tide. And you know what the bottom line is? Toxins taste good. I focused on helping people diet for the better part of 15 years as a high-performance coach and nutritionist, where I was teaching some of the who's who, and I get to consult, of course, with the American Anti-Cancer Institute. And the bottom line is people don't get illnesses, they don't get cancer, they don't get heart disease, they don't get lung disease, they don't get acid reflux, they don't get inflammation, they don't get constipation in one night. They get it of a built-up of toxicity that do little tiny bits of damage over long periods of time. That's how illness happens. Some of the common toxins are, chlorine, fluoride. Check out the CDC relation between obesity and fluoride, or check out what chlorine creates inside the body, trichloramines, which is a cancer-causing agent. Check out the toxins from drugs and the toxicities that come, and look on the fine print of the medications that you might be taking. And all kinds of other man-made chemicals like pesticides on all our food, preservatives in a lot of the foods and colorants, dyes that are inside to make things look pretty, and other chemical agents that we're consuming on a daily basis on mass quantities that no other population on the planet has ever done this in throughout all of human history. And that's why people are getting sick despite the best medicine in the world. You see, medicine can't fix the toxins. Medicine can only treat the symptoms of disease, and that's what the medical industry does. It's up to you to prevent yourself from going there. And doesn't it make sense to stop the damage first? Benjamin Franklin said, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. We have the best preventative machine on the planet. There's nothing like it. The whole family benefits. These things are good for 20 years. And Enagic's water machines address the issues as it relates to water. And the bottom line is this. We all know this. The solution to pollution is dilution. I always say, if you pee in a pool, everybody notices. If you pee in a hot tub, or you pee in the ocean, nobody notices. You pee in a pool, everybody notices. And you pee in a hot tub, it's grounds for a divorce. So the bottom line is the solution to pollution is dilution. And we know that we all have these toxins. Doesn't it make sense to flush them out with the best water on the planet? Water is the best detoxification substance there is. You just need to drink more of it, and our water tastes better, it works better, and provides antioxidants to help remove the toxins in your body. So what I've created is the no-fail diet. Now, I've literally put thousands of people on this diet around the world. You do not have to adjust what you eat. You do not have to eat any weird foods or change your diet or do anything. Here's what you do. You take 1 quart of water when you wake up in the morning. 1 quart of KANGEN water. That's about like one of these. You drink it. If you're in a other country, you can say 1 liter. I use 1 liter. Of course, we're in the States, it's 1 quart. Now, between breakfast and lunch, you want to take another one and you want to sip it. And then between lunch and dinner, you want to take another one and you sip it, and then you drink a quart in the evening, whether you're watching or you're just down at the end. And I'll tell you what, if you drink 4 quarts or 4 liters of Kangen water every single day, as this was done, you are going to experience a dramatic result in your health, in your vitality, in the way you think, in the way you feel, in the way you move. It's incredible. And that's why the person that turns you on to this is so darn fired up. You might think they're crazy. But they're actually have discovered something so powerful, and they're excited to share this with you because they want to share the good news. And isn't it nice that there's a little good news out there? And if you combine this, you go all in on the home health package, you get the Kangen water, the Anaspa, the Ukon. What do? You get rid of the toxins in the water, you get unlimited antioxidants, you improve hydration through the lower surface tension, you eliminate the need for disposable plastic bottles, you eliminate phyto and xenoestrogens affecting everybody, you know, right down to your dog and your cat and your kids. It makes your skin beautiful. It creates an environment that environmentally friendly disinfectants. You can use our 2.5. You can kill any bacteria, disinfect anything, salmonella, E. coli, HIV, all that sort of stuff. It kills every bacteria, no chemicals needed. It removes oil-based chemicals from your produce. We make a water in this machine that allows you to remove the pesticides off your food. You can't do this with regular water because they're oil-based. But because of that lower surface tension on the 11.5, we're able to wash that stuff right off, and you can see it in the container. It's amazing. You get rid of those chemicals. Those chemicals kill bugs. The question is, how many of those chemicals do you need to eat before it kills you? Interesting, right? Now, we also provide 3 levels on tasty, clean drinking water that allows you to kind of scale up as you improve your health and vitality. And the bottom line is our machines are absolutely, virtually free. And what does that mean? Because the tax savings and referral commissions will pay for your machines. Because when you have one of these, you're going to tell people about it. Enagic has won all the awards and recognitions for manufacturing quality on the planet. There is no company in the world that produces this quality of machine. We've got, you know, the Earth International Environmental World. We've got the ISO 9001 award, the 14001, the 13485 Medical Device Award, the Environmental Award, the Cleanliness Award. We've got all of these awards. Why? There's nobody else. We are an original equipment manufacturer. We've been doing this for over 40 years. There's nobody on the planet that can produce the same quality machine at the same price delivered to your door with parts of service, sales, and distribution all around the planet. We're in every major place. There's no place on the planet that you can't get one of these shipped to you. You know, Mr. Shiro, our president, is an incredible man. I just spent a little time with him in Okinawa, Japan, and I was able to walk down a golf course that he built to serve our distributors. He's building an amazing spa there. And along that course, he has trees planted. And when you reach a certain designation, when you've helped enough people in the world, what they do is they plant a tree in your honor. And I got to go see a tree there, and I got to see the trees of a lot of my friends that helped me and the friends that had helped them, people who had made a difference around the world. And here's Mr. Oshiro, 76 years old. He looks amazing. Comes from a little tiny island in Okinawa, and he has a dream that he wants to spread true health with compassion all around the world. He overcomes bombing as a child. He overcome his children, his couple of his relatives, his sisters and brothers dying during the war in Okinawa. He overcame malaria. They thought he was going to die. He overcame a major accident as a young man. He overcame a financial wipeout when he was working for Sony. And he found Enagic, and he started selling these things out of his tiny apartment in Okinawa, and he built a billion-dollar brand that has spread around the globe over the last 40 years. And he does it with an amazing business model that allows the people in the company to share in the revenue. His true health philosophy, I saw it first time 9.5 years ago, and it means more to me today than it did back then because I understand what it's all about. He says the true health philosophy needs to be shared with compassion, and that's why we go out and we give the water out. We provide machines for people to try. We go out and do demos. We help change people's physical health, because he said you need to change your physical health. And if you get your physical health, you tell your friends and you show them about how you can get financial health, because there is no real health if you do not have healthy finances and healthy physicality. And if you have both of those, you have happiness. And ultimately, you have peace of mind. And what do you want when you have peace of mind? You want to share that message over and over and over again. And I've been doing it for over 9.5 years, and I'll continue doing it forever. I love this company, and I love what it represents. It's transformed my life. It's transformed millions of lives. And it can transform your life as well. You know, there was a fellow by the name of Thomas Edison, and he said, the doctor of the future will give no medicine, but will interest his patients in the care of the human frame in diet and cause and prevention of disease. I'm not here to treat, cure, diagnose any medical illness. I'm not here to tell you that this is going to fix all these horrible diseases. What I'm here to say is there is an opportunity in front of you to take and all you need to do is drink water. This from this magic machine, 4 quarts a day, 4 liters a day, morning, mid-morning, afternoon, and evening. And your life will transform. You'll start to see the power that's inside your body waiting to be watered. You wouldn't grow a lawn without watering the seeds. You wouldn't imagine that you could grow vegetables without water. You wouldn't imagine that you could grow animals without water. You wouldn't have fish without water, and you wouldn't have people without water. Doesn't it make sense that you want to put the best water inside your body that you possibly can? And if that you do that, it would make a difference in your life? That's the Enagic mission. I want to thank you this evening for taking this and listening to this. And I want to share with you that we're here to commit long past this. You can go to our site, www.prosperityandhealthalliance.com. And on that site, we have an automatic training and education format that is open to everybody on the planet so they can learn all about how this water can transform their life. We have a series of videos hooked up on YouTube that you can click on. Our training library where we will discuss every single format of this. And in fact, we'll also show you how you can get your very own business started today and get started with some of the brightest people in this industry that are going to teach you and hold your hand every step of the way to show you how you can take this machine and go out there and build a real career, something that will pay you over time. We're talking, you know, you can decide if you want to make $500 a month, if you want to make $500 a week, or you want to make $500 a day. We can show you a way on how you can do it with this amazing technology, helping people and sharing this message around the world. So the question is, what are you waiting for? Are you going to just click off this and say, I don't know, sounds good, I think I'll go check Facebook? Or are you going to say, you know what, I'm going to give this a shot. Somebody give this to me. I'm going to try this water. I'm going to take a look at this. Seriously, I'm going to suspend any disbelief. I'm not going to look to my peers on this one. I'm going to look inside myself, and I am going to try it. You see, the scientific method is called theory and experimentation. Someone gives you a hypothesis, and you try it. You've got nothing to lose, nothing to risk, but you have everything to gain. What if this works? What if this water makes you feel better? What if this water improves your health and vitality? And what if this whole business model that's associated can actually change your finances? Would it be worth spending a couple hours and doing it? Would it be worth drinking 4 of these glasses a day? We're here to help you. I look forward to seeing you soon. www.Prosperity and Health Alliance. I'm your host, Wade T. Lightheart, and I'm so happy that you took the time to check this out. Take the next step and try the water. Thank you.